I was raised in a Christian home with parents who took us to church every week, and I was involved in a lot of church activities. There's really just one major problem with my growing up in church, and that's that I didn't have a relationship with Jesus. I remember one night, even as a teenager, just looking up into the sky and looking at all the stars and asking God one night, God, what's my purpose? The reason I had such an emptiness is because I didn't really have a relationship with Jesus Christ. I realized that for all those years I'd pretty much been playing church. Had everybody in my church convinced, but I knew in my heart that something was missing. I remember that night when I went to the altar and had that experience, asked Jesus to forgive me my sins. I remember getting on the phone and calling my mom, first of all, to let her know that I really was saved, and then having to go before the people at the church and letting them know that I finally had a salvation experience. A lot of years passed, and I got married at 29, and I married a beautiful young lady who wanted to have lots of children, which was an interesting thing because by that time I had decided that that's what I wanted as well. One of my greatest joys is our morning devotion times, just getting up with my family in the morning and getting the Bible out and looking into the Scripture about what God has to say about how we should live our lives. I see God's hand at work in all 5 of my children, and I think especially of Mason, my 13-year-old, how God has already called him to missions and to see how that is developing and how it affects his siblings and his classmates and the other young people at the church.
Ever since I can remember, my dad's always put God first. He's always started the day off by talking to God and by praying to God and by reading His Word. And in every situation, he's always consulting God. He's always praying to God before he goes to anyone else. I want to change the world through Christ by reaching the lost and restoring the broken. I want to be Christ's servant, His follower, and to do whatever He tells me to do. I'm so thankful that I have a dad that shows me how to be a godly young man and gives me the right example.
It's easy to get so focused on filling our kids' lives with so many things that we want them to be good at. But really, how much of that really matters in the shape of eternity? As parents, we love our children, and we want to take them on vacation. We want to take them to Disney World. We want to take them to baseball practice, soccer practice, dance recitals. We want to take them places that will make memories. But first, are we taking them to the cross?
When I think about the cross and I think about how the God of the universe sent His Son to save me, I get overwhelmed and I can't just hide that. I've got to go tell people.
We can't escape the fact that the cross is really about sacrifice. The great command that God gives us through His Son Jesus Christ is that we are to go make disciples. But how can we make disciples if we're not willing to sacrifice? Because if we're going to pour our life into someone else, it's going to require some sacrifice. If we're going to pour our lives into our wives and our children and the people around us, it means that we're going to have to be willing to sacrifice. And sacrifice is never easy. But sacrifice is always worth it. We're the Harrises, and we'll see you at the cross.